Well, Baklalan is, people call it the heart of Borneo. It is situated right in the middle of Borneo Island.
Way back in the 60s, they brought over this Adan rice to Miri because Bario got a field at the time. Bakalan, no airport at the time. That's why this rice was exposed to the town. So the people in the town, they asked, what rice is this? They call, we brought this from Bario. So they call it Bario Rice. The real name is not Bario Rice. It is Adan rice.
Sarawak, home to nearly 2.5 million ethnically and culturally diverse people, is the third largest contributor to Malaysia's economy, thanks to its abundant natural resources and thriving ecosystem. But down on the home front, local businesses have been making their own marks in their community over the years. In this series, we meet some of the most innovative and aspiring Sarawakians today to find out why they do what they do and how they do it. The land of the Hornbills is known for producing some of the most sought-after agricultural commodities worldwide, including the highly acclaimed Sarawak pepper. Thanks to the fertile lands and optimal climate conditions of Borneo Island, the pepper retains a unique aroma and subtle heat that makes it a pantry staple around the world. But in the last few years, there is one other local produce that has been making its way onto dining tables outside of Sarawak: Heirloom rice. Heirloom rice is an unadulterated grain traditionally cultivated for generations among the indigenous community. Some common heirloom varieties include black forbidden rice and red rice. There are at least 300 varieties of heirloom rice in Sarawak, and the most distinguished among them is Bario Rice. Its name references the place of its origin, Bario, a settlement 1,000 meters above sea level and home to the Kalabit community. Bario rice is also grown in the literal heart of Borneo, in the nearby village, Baklalan, which is a mere 20-minute plane ride away. To learn more about this specific variety, we set out from our home base in Kuching to meet the Lumbawang rice farmers, the people behind the hands that have nurtured the plains of Baklalan for generations. At the large paddy fields, we meet Jack Kusang, who regales the origin story of how this popular rice variety we refer to as Bario rice today is in fact called Adan rice.
Bario rice is just a name given by those people in Bario initially when they first marketed their rice.
Way back in the 60s or the 60s, 50s, when the Kalabit people from Bario, they brought over this Adan rice, brought it to Marudi or to Miri because Bario got a field at the time, a field at the time. Bakalan, no airport at the time. That's why this rice was exposed to the town. So the people in the town, they asked, what rice is this? They call, we brought this from Bario. So they call it Bario Rice, like that. Actually, it's not the real name is not Bario Rice. It is Adan rice.
So since it was marketed and people recognize it as a Bario rice, so people seems to accept that Adan rice is a Bario rice. But nowadays, they are coming back to the original name, which is Adan rice.
Bario rice, or should we say Adan rice, is a short grain with a creamy white color. It is mainly cultivated in the northern lowland and highland communities of Sarawak and Kalimantan.
Over the side, Indonesia, Dun Bawang, they plant the same beras Adan. Only these three places. They can plant. They can bring the seed to other places. They can plant, but the taste different. It's because of the climate.
Adan rice from Bario gained international recognition and received the International Presidia Award in 2002 from the Slow Food Foundation of Italy. which aims to protect traditional food products and agriculture methods that are at risk of disappearing. It is also one of the only 3 heirloom rice varieties with a certified geographical indication at the Malaysian Intellectual Property Organization, whose global guideline attributes the qualities or reputation of a produce to its geographical origin. It is July in Bacalalan, and the farmers here are preparing their fields for the upcoming rice planting season. Jegusang and his wife are weeding their paddy fields, which have been left unattended since their last harvest 6 months ago. They are also accompanied by their children, who have just returned to the village for a break from their lives in the city. There is only one school in Bacalalan. Sekolah Kebangsaan Bacalalan is shared among 12 villages and offers only primary education, after which the students are sent to a nearby town, usually Lawas, to pursue further studies. It is perhaps during this time that the young Lung Bawangs are exposed to the world outside their own and realize that the pasture is greener on the other side.
When they are schooling, so they are always away from the village, so they don't experience it. Not until like me, after I retired, only then I know how to do this harvesting.
Education is much needed that influence the life of the young people. They tend to find life in the city more attractive than staying in the village.
They continue their studies, so they are educated, highly educated, so they had to find a job in Semenanjung or in Kuching like that.
This is a nursery of Adan seedlings. The seedlings are ready to be transplanted to the paddy fields once field preparation is done. Field preparation is indeed laborious work. Apart from weeds, parasitic pests, such as apple snails and fish, need to be removed from the flooded paddy fields. Removing these pests is crucial to prevent damage done to the rice seedlings. Local heirloom rice costs more than the commercial variety. On average, 1 kilo goes for 17 Malaysian ringgit. One contributing factor to its high cost is the use of traditional farming methods.
The cultivation itself is a very small-scale planting, so it involves a lot of labor, quite labor-intensive, and therefore the cost of the production is high.
When we return from the break, we speak to Brandon Khan, founder of Antares Ventures, whose goal is to bridge the gap between rural farmers and urban consumers, while elevating local heirloom rice as a sustainable and quality alternative to mass-market produce. Back in Kuching, we meet Brandon Khan, the founder of Antares Ventures and owner of a rice mill at Batu Kitang. His facility is fitted with a state-of-the-art drying and milling machine to process grains.
After the many years in Peninsular Malaysia, when I returned to Sarawak, and I find that the traditional rice is slowly decreasing. So when I involved myself in the paddy industry, then I realized that indeed this paddy industry in Sarawak is declining. That is when I feel that there's a need to preserve this rice and to continue the production and the planting of this indigenous rice in Sarawak. Basically, we process the local rice and we pack it ourselves and we try to introduce into the marketplace.
Brandon's foremost approach was to attract a large market through packaging, which served both storage and marketing purposes.
The objective and goal of Antares Venture is to empower the Sarawak rural paddy farmers, at the same time to preserve the heritage heirloom rice of Sarawak.
The other two geographical indication certified grains are Bajong rice from Betong and Biri rice from Semenanjung, which are both cultivated in the lowland. Coloured rice like Bajong is high in antioxidants and fibre and low in glycemic index.
Usually rice that have color, for example, red rice, purple rice, and black rice. And this natural pigment is very rich in anthocyanin, and this anthocyanin is very rich in antioxidant and high in fiber and nutrient as well.
We returned to Bacalalan 5 months later. As our Twin Otter aircraft approached the runway, there was a sea of golden paddy fields below. Looks like we arrived just in time for the harvest. We reunited with Jaku-san and his wife, Julia-san, who have just started harvesting the paddies in their field.
At what age you started to learn how to paddy planting?
8 years old like that, because I used to follow my mom to do the sawah, so I help her with the planting. It's really fun during that time.
Their children have already gone back to the city. More and more of the younger generation leave the village in search of better opportunities. In contrast, retirees are returning home to their villages to settle down. Mutang Dawat was a police officer and his wife a headmistress at a school who have returned to the valley for retirement.
I was in the police department in the special branch, Sawan Has. 40 years in service. Then I pensioned off 10 of January 2017.
Retired 2 years ago as a headmistress. I was teaching around Lawas town. This is my mother's village, and then furthermore, my husband village also. So we try to make a house here and then stay here because we feel very comfortable here, very peaceful.
So we both of us go back to Kampong, the farm lah.
For a settlement so remote from modernity, where even electricity is dependent on solar power, the Lumbawang farmers believe the paddy is sustenance provided by God.
Before we go and make the nursery, the paddy seed we put in the packet, in the cloth lah. We soak in the water for how many days, how many nights. After that, we go and bring to the church. Then get a pastor to pray, to bless lah. So now, already being protected. That's a blessing already. Now we harvest the blessing given by God. This is the blessing given by God.
We have that faith that our great God will just help us with all those that we as humans can't handle.
And the quality of Adan rice from Bacalalan is very high quality and good quality as well, because it is cultivated in a very traditional method.
Unlike commercial farms that heavily rely on agricultural machinery, the cultivation of Adan rice in Bacalalan is still done through traditional means, with the aid of water buffaloes.
Technique of farming, especially for the wet paddy, has been passed down from our ancestors. It has been proven successful for tens or maybe hundreds of years now. Buffaloes and paddy fields works together as well. During this peak season, harvesting season, all the buffaloes are kept in the ranch so that they will not cause a lot of destruction to the paddy. But after the harvesting, then they will be released. In other sense that they are doing 3 jobs: clearing, plowing, and fertilizing.
We are in Bacalalan during the annual harvest season to see the reaping of Adan rice firsthand. The annual paddy production in this village of 1,200 people is estimated to be 1.9 metric tons. Like most indigenous paddy farmers across Sarawak, the primary reason for rice planting is for self-sustenance and giftings on special community occasions like wedding and Christmas. Only the excess is sold. In the nearby town of Lawas, we witnessed a Lumbawang's wedding, where the harvested traditional rice is cooked and served to guests. The rice is traditionally wrapped and cooked in leaves. The Lumbawangs call it nuba dengar in their language. Most heirloom rice farmers still adhere to their traditional cultivation methods, and though sustainable, its small yield is unable to meet the market's demand.
We, the older generation, we're getting older and older, weaker. We wouldn't be able to do like farming or whatever it is. So you people go to learn. You follow your parents, your folk to the farm. From there, you people learn.
This paddy field is from generation to generation. So they are supposed to do it after we are grown old. If you don't do farming for 1 year, I tell you, it will become bushes. So it must be continuously every year.
And contrary to belief, the disinterest of the younger generation is not the underlying cause. The reality is, many rural farmers are forgoing the tradition and their paddy fields for cash crops like palm oil. Accessibility is also a large concern. Underdeveloped infrastructure can deter prospective investors and visitors from the area. We found the road conditions to and fro the highland villages in an appalling state. By and large, farmers practicing heirloom rice cultivation lack incentives and support to continue heirloom rice husbandry, especially in today's fast-growing and competitive economy.
It is expensive to bring this rice from the rural or from the highland to the city. And when the product reach the shelf and the retail price is quite high, so that is a problem.
When the road is properly developed and it's easy to transport things, I think paddy planting for the young people might be of their interest.
Exploring the valley, we spotted a few young people reaping and thrashing at a paddy field. Perhaps not everyone of the new generation has a detached interest in farming after all.
Mula-mula potong, lepas tu bel dia punya padi kan, masuk dalam guni, lepas tu jemur, buang dia punya dia punya daun ni, bersih, lepas tu jemur balik, baru jadi beras.
Susah kah?
Boleh tahan juga lah pinggang yang paling sakit. Ini tradisi menuai tanam padi memang dari dulu kan. Jadi dari saya rasa mesti teruskan sampai anak cucu. Nanti kalau orang tua tidak, siapa lagi mau buat nanti.
Globally, consumers have become more health conscious and aware of the nutritional value of sustainable agricultural crops. And with a growing support for ethnically cultivated produce, there is a place for Sarawak's heirloom rice yet on every pantry shelf. Rich in biodiversity and diverse in cultures, Sarawak has the potential to be an active part of the global discourse on sustainability and food security. And perhaps, with a little introspection, we might just find that the best move towards a sustainable future is by taking a step back to our roots. When we return to Kuching in our next episode, we speak to the people behind the decades-old beverage manufacturing company to learn how they aim to bring Sarawak to the international market through their products.